Yeah, honestly, obviously going into that football game, you guys knew they were going to stunt a good bit. How did you guys feel as if you counteracted that or responded to those stunts, particularly against zone?
Yeah, I mean, really with zone, you're on a track. You kind of want to just stay on a track and not let anything knock you off. Yeah, I mean, just really trying to emphasize staying on track. Versus movement and zone plays is like pretty much how we try to attack it.
Dylan, how would you assess just blocking for the run game? And obviously, Georgia's been known for run game this past week. It was non-existent almost.
Mm-hmm.
What can be done to reestablish it?
We just need to get better. I mean, it's plain and simple as that. We need to just attack this week of practice and clean up some footwork and some things that just trouble most offensive lines. And just really just attack this week in practice and just get better with the fundamentals.
John, how much do you feel like this matchup against a really good Tennessee defensive front is a chance for you guys to prove yourselves and to bounce back from last week?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity, and in this league you got to move forward. You got to bury things, and that's what we've done. We're moving forward, and we're looking forward to attacking this week and just getting better at this week practice.
Over here. Whenever you're facing a defensive line as talented as Ole Miss was, is an offensive line, is there anything that can be done, schematically to maybe help you guys a little bit more, or is it just as simple as just blocking the man, who's there in front of you?
I would just say trust and fundamentals. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Is how good are your fundamentals? Kind of just go back to the basics. Just try to focus on that.
Yeah, Dylan, I would guess the film session yesterday wasn't necessarily pretty, but when you're watching that, just what were the biggest things you noticed on film, and how much of what you saw can be corrected on from 1 week to the next?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, it's a fundamentals thing. I think offensive line play is a lot of habitual. It's fundamentals are key in offensive line play, and when you lack fundamentals and when you lack those habits that are gonna keep you on the right course during the game, it's not what you want. You got to go back to work. You got to get better. You got to go back to fundamentals and the basics of things and just get better.
Smael was back on the field Saturday for the first time since his injury. Just from afar, what have you seen from him as he's pushed to make his return?
Yeah, he's so positive about just Smael's had a couple of injuries, and it's easy to let that get you down and discourage you. And I just think he's been real positive. Every time I see him, he's got a smile on his face, and so he's just attacked everything in rehab and everything that he's got to do to get back out there and doing what he does.
This game is being marketed and promoted this week as playoff elimination. Does it feel like that to you guys? Is there an air of desperation over Saturday's competition?
I would just say it's a game for us that we have to execute in and perform well. I mean, I wouldn't say desperation. I would just say that it's a game we want to win. I mean, I think every game we want to win. Every game, every year we're striving to go to the playoffs. We're trying to get in those big championship games, and to do that you got to win. So.
Dylan, you guys always pride yourself on being very process-oriented, more so than the results. When it does come after, a loss, how much urgency is there to get those things corrected, to get that process back up to speed to where you guys want it compared to when you do win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, just you guys are process-oriented. You're always not fixated on the results, but in
right.
the situation you are, with a goal, still intact.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, when you do lose a game like that, how much urgency comes with getting everything figured out compared to when you win a game?
Yeah, I think the urgency is, in practice and in the preparation now. I mean, I think, all of us wish we could go back and do at least one thing different. I mean, I think that's just a human thought, when you have a loss. Yeah, I mean, I would just say the urgency is spiked in practice. It's spiked in the preparation and, all the things that we do to try to win,
Yeah, as someone who's played next to him for most of the season, what have you seen out of Earnest Greene this year, and how he sort of had to battle through injury to get to this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, he's struggling with some injury right now, and he's a very hard player. Like he is personally one of my best friends, and I know he wants to perform up to our standard, and we all want to perform up to our standard, and we can all perform better. He's attacking his rehab. We're getting some things figured out with just where he is along the lines of injury. And just trying to figure his body out. He's just got to get his body back into it, and once he does, it's going to be back to business.
Dylan, I don't remember your backstory in terms of if you grew up a Georgia fan or not, but what are rivalry games like Tennessee or Florida? Do they mean more than the Ole Miss game or another game? Like, do you get more amped up for this one?
I wouldn't say they mean more. Maybe brings a little bit more, in the fans and in the environment. But for us, it's a game, and we take every game as serious as the last and the next, and every game is serious. Every game we want to win. And yep.
Dylan, there's been a lot made about Carson Beck on the sideline, particularly after these games, body language, things like that. Just what kind of leadership have you seen from Carson, especially, or specifically, I should say, after that Alabama loss and then in the time since Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, he's positive, I mean, you can't, this is football, everything's not going to go your way. Everything's not going to go the way that, we want it to. And you got to stay positive. You can't mope around, I don't know what people want him to do, mope around, but, you got to stay positive, that's the thing is you got to keep going. Wood's got to be chopped. You got to keep chopping, so, I mean, I'm happy that he's positive. I mean, I know our team's happy he's positive. We're looking forward to getting after it this week in practice and just getting better.
What is your kind of normal routine for a night game and just the process of the day, especially being at home? I mean, does it seem like the day takes forever for kickoff to get there, or how do you occupy your time, and are you just excited to be back home?
Oh, yeah, of course. Always excited to be back home. And I would just say kind of try to relax, watch some football, wake up. I don't want to rush into my day, kind of just, you don't want to completely relax your mind, but you kind of just want to you don't want to play the game before it's played, yeah, just watch some football, kind of hang out, talk to teammates, talk to, friends, maybe call mom, just hang out, and then as the game gets closer, just kind of start to amp it up a little bit, get to thinking more and more about the game, what we're going to see, the type of fronts, all that.
Give us your assessment of the run game this year versus last year. Kirby said, that we in the media will look to the stats, and he'll look to the defenses that you've played, but it just doesn't feel like it feels different this year than last year, but I'd want to ask somebody who's actually doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the stats aren't what we want them to be, Again, I would just go back to Coach Smart's point. We've played a lot of really good defenses that stop the run, and to our benefit, that helps us. That helps us in harder games. That helps us in future games. It helps us get better, and we've just tried to get better from week to week. I think that's the biggest thing is just keeping it going. We've dealt with injuries all across the offense, so there's a lot of factors that kind of go into the stats. Stats don't necessarily tell a story, so we kind of just keep chopping wood and keep going.
Any more for Dylan? All right, Dylan, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan.